Good morning and welcome to another Monday morning art talk. So how I come about my art talks, I just kind of want to explain, is that my mind just goes. It's always going. I could be driving, I could be drawing, I could be doing anything. And all of a sudden just these ideas kind of pop in, these feelings, these gut sort of sensations come into me through discovery, through something I've experienced that day. And then I just write it down, and I usually send myself an email and I just write art talk, and then I'll eventually be able to come back to it later. So as I have these different topics that I have and have built up, this week's art talk was a no-brainer for me. And this week's art talk is about a hero of mine, a legend, and a friend, Jack Davis. And Jack Davis, if you don't know who he was, he did so much that his history goes so far back from doing EC Comics, but Mad Magazine is where I discovered him through his Mad Magazine work. And if you just Google Jack Davis and you see his work, you'll start to understand and see what he brought to the table in cartooning. And what he brought really was humor. He changed the face of the way that humorous illustration was done. He just pushed it to the limit, and he gave these characters so much life and movement, and they had their knuckles, that you'd look at, the way he would just show people it was the before and after something was going to happen. There was no middle sort of in between, so to speak, drawing. It was the impact. It was everything within his drawings that just gave it life, and the way he could create crowd scenes and put those together, his inking style, and then his color style, his watercolor, the way he would watercolor. And what he had that I admired so much when I found Mad Magazine was when I was in high school, was the fact that he pushed things, and it was just free. It was this freedom and this natural. You could tell he was just drawing naturally. This was Jack Davis. This is how he drew. Everything that he did was consistent. In animation, working and working as a commercial artist, a lot of times you have to adhere to other people's styles. That's the constant battle, name of the game, just adhering to that, where he defined himself as who he was in that era of advertising and publishing, and just again changed the world, how cartoonists started to see things, and so many people became inspired from that as I did. And I was just sad to hear that Jack had just passed away this past week. But I didn't feel so bad and sad inside. I felt like, God, man, what a gift this guy had that he gave. I believe he was 91 years old, and I just gave so much to this industry. That what a life. And he always talked about what a life, and just looking at his cartooning and how much fun he had, and later on in his years, and he couldn't draw so much, but what he left behind, that legacy that is stuck with just so much of us, and again myself. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, is just how we find these cartoonists, and they changed your course. They changed the way you see things. And it's so important to find and discover artists that inspire you, that are going to take you to that next level, that are going to push you, that it's not so much always someone just telling you that you got to do it, but for you to be able to open up the pages and recognize the sort of work that they're doing, the stories they're telling, and what is it about their drawing that evokes you? What is it, that thing that makes you just giddy inside, that you get excited about? Not so much that, it's great for me, like I'm telling you, I'm pointing out Jack Davis, but what do you get from it? What do you see from it? It may not inspire you at all. You may think that he's a horrible cartoonist. You may look at his work and say, but it doesn't have all the construction in it, and it doesn't have, it's not perfectly rendered, so that doesn't agree with you. So you're going to have those things that don't resonate with you, and that's okay. So our jobs as artists are to find those people that, whatever it is, wow, I admire that, and I'm going to see if I can practice that. I'm going to see if I can infuse some of that into my own work, and that's what they do. So Mad Magazine with Mort Drucker, Jack Davis, these guys were the two main guys that just made me want to be what I wanted to be, do what I wanted to do. And so I just want to tell you a little bit of a story how I met Jack for the first time. Always drawing. I was drawing caricatures in the theme parks, and one of my mentors and my friend David Camishu, um, who hired me, who gave me the job drawing caricatures at SeaWorld, he just brought out those Mad magazines, and then I got even more excited about it and just started from that, just drawing all the time, copying Jack Davis, trying to find those poses. How does he push it? How does he draw hands? How does he draw feet? And these are the things that I would just look for just to try to put in my drawings. And in the beginning, they're horrible, but I was seeing what I needed to put into my own work. And I was at a convention, this ISCA, it's called ISCA, it's a caricatures convention. It's awesome convention where people from all over the world get together and compete in a friendly, beautiful way. The most beautiful way ever of just competing with each other doing caricatures. And the whole week you're just drawing each other, and you get a space on the wall and you put it up there, and you have speed competitions and you do all this. It's called ISCA. And it's a great thing. And through there, Jack Davis had come and spoken through there. He was invited as a guest. So they always have great guests. Every year there was a big guest speaker that would come. That's why I met so many other great artists, John Cash and Sebastian Kruger, David Cowles, just so many artists, great caricature artists that you meet. And through that organization, you're going to meet all your friends. And one of my friends, he was living in Florida at the time, and he just said, hey, we were talking about Jack Davis, and it's just like, yeah, you like Jack Davis? I'm like, man, I love him. So you want to meet him? I'm like, what? What do you mean meet him? So yeah, I know him. He's just not too far. We can come to Florida. We can drive over there, because he was living in Atlanta, San Simon's Island in Atlanta. So I said, yeah, just dude, call him. So the guy called the next day, said, hey, we get to go see Jack. I'm like, oh my God, no way. This is crazy. This is unbelievable. So booked the ticket, drove up to his house and his studio that his son had built. He lived on this huge, enormous plantation overlooking the lake, and had a beautiful studio. And I had my portfolio, I had my work, and actually I was working on my very first book at that time too. And so while I was there, I'm just sitting enamored, just looking around his studio, just asking him questions, like Bugs Bunny was his inspiration for the big feet. He loved how Bugs Bunny had huge feet, and that's why he drew big feet on all his characters, and the big hands. So he loved animation, Warner Brothers animation. That's what he grew up. He just loved that stuff, and it translated that animated feeling into his work. And just looking through his stuff, he's such a kind man, and it just talked like this, and it say, yeah, just go ahead, feel free, just open up the drawers, or whatever you like. Just, man, looking through these drawers, all this artwork, going, oh my God. And saying, hey, how come you never finished this? I'd see unfinished pieces, but he was started the watercolor, but they was just stopped. So I was curious, like, why would you go that far inking it, starting the flesh tone, but then just abandon ship? And his answer was, I didn't like it. You can have it if you like. And gave me a piece of artwork, gave me a couple of pieces of artwork that day, and just the hospitality, how friendly, the knowledge, just showing me all his paints and everything that he uses, and it was so inspiring. And at that moment, that's when I came up, and I'm just like, God, I'm working on a book. This would be a great time. I wonder if he'd write something for my book. So I had a bunch of pages that I was working on, and that was my very first book that I did, The Art of Silver. And what I did, I said, hey, would you mind doing a forward for my book? Sure, if you like, and he's looking through my work, and he's just paging one by one. I'm just, oh my God, Jack Davis is looking at my work. This is crazy. And, he's just looking at it and just saying, say, hey, just keep, pushing your poses and keep doing this, and, we'll work on your forms a bit. And, it just, again, just awesome information and stuff that I'm sitting there taking in. Just, oh my God, I'm gonna, got to do this. And so he said, just, hey, when the time, just send me, tell me what you need, and I'll send it off to you. And I said, no, just, maybe you could just write a little something. I don't know. And I sort of left it at that. And then in the mail, what I ended up getting was, let me just reach on over here. First, I get this on this letterhead, and it says, Stephen, hope this is okay. Send me a copy when you can, on his paper. And he had paper, and he had sent the drawing, and I'll just show you that. But I mean, I have this framed because of how special and amazing that was. And then this is what he sent, just this original drawing of him saying, Stephen is a very talented young man. And it was oh my God, just unbelievable. So I was just blown away. Again, here's like in the book, that's what I ended up putting in the book, where I ended up having that. And there's me with Jack Davis in his studio as we were looking at some artwork through there. And this guy, so I just wanted to just talk about Jack today. I just wanted to express to you just my love for the man and how much he meant to me, and how he led and guided my life. And that it's just such an amazing thing. And at the end, when I walked away after it was almost lunchtime and we left, so we were there probably for about 3 hours or so. And then we left, and he just said to me, just simply, have fun. I said, it's almost like any sort of, advice, parting words. Have fun. Just have fun. I'm like, man, that's it. That's it, man. It's just about having fun. And I love that. And it holds so true, I think, in everything, what we start to get our minds caught up in. And I'll share with you just really quick a little transition. I was talking to my mom on the phone the other day, and she said, it's amazing when I look back, whereas you as a young boy, I never saw what you do now. I never thought in a million years you'd end up doing what I've done in my life. Just didn't even fathom it. It was just, I've talked about a lot of the bad things that I did in my life on another art talk, but it was just one of those things where, where did it come from? And, how did it sort of happen that way? How did it go? And we don't know. And as she was talking more and more, she said, she's 76 years old now. And she said, all my life, and we've sort of heard this before, it's just like all the things that I did that she was talking about that she maybe thought about or did worry about is they didn't sort of come, and everything that happened, it was meant to be. Everything that was a reflection. If it went good, if it went bad, it was still part of the process. But she was just saying, like, the biggest thing is just 76, it's been a good life. And the thing is just not to worry about stuff. And that's really it. It just comes down to having fun and not worrying, and once again embracing the day so much and appreciating life so much. And as we just heard, depending where you live on the world, where those 16 people died in the hot air balloon, were killed. Again, when I think about this stuff so much, where these guys woke up in that morning to see just a beautiful sky and a beautiful sun, just surroundings, beautiful atmosphere. And what ends up happening is, they probably had all these other plans and things that they wanted to do, and the day ended at that moment in the morning, and there was no more. And that's where this constant, just I think, fuel, that if there's anything that I can share with people out there, is if you can, and it's not that it's going to be easy, but if you can, just whatever situation in, just try to appreciate that situation and know that it's meant to be, and it's a part of a stepping stone leading you to that next place and that journey and that new discovery. Who are you going to discover? What new artist are you going to find? What's that next thing you're going to draw that you don't even know about yet? What's excuse me, what's that getting over a sickness from Comic-Con, actually. What's that other just person you're gonna meet, it's that job you're gonna have. It goes on, and we just don't know. And there is no plan other than your own putting the plans into motion. Whatever it is you want. Jack Davis just wanted to draw his whole life. That's what he did, and that's what he wanted to do. And he drew like Jack Davis, and that's who he was. And he was Jack Davis from day one to the final days. And that's, I think, just the real lesson is to embrace that as much as possible. And that's it. So thanks again for watching this art talk. And, Jack Davis, you're going to live on forever and ever. You're like the Beatles, and it's not going away. And I encourage any of you guys, if you're not familiar with his work, look at his work and determine for yourself what excites you about it. What makes you just sort of like go, wow, that's pretty fun. I know what it was for me. So that's it. Have a great one, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Take care. Hello, this is Steven, and I just wanted to tell you about this cool thing that I'm doing right now through my website at silvertunes.com. It's a Skype mentorship. In a sense, what I want to do is just talk to you, meet you, tell me about things that are happening in your life, see if there's anything that I could do to help you. I can look over your artwork, do your portfolio, and just maybe try to push you in the right direction that you want to take your life and your journey. All right, so you can go to silvertunes.com, go to classes, click on mentorship, and you can learn all about it. We can try to arrange a time, set up a date. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. And I just wanted to make it just very affordable, just to open it up, because I love doing this. I love meeting people from all over the planet. It's a really cool thing, and with this technology, why not? So that's it. Thanks.
Whoa! Hey! Go back. Go back.
Go back.
Great. Go back. Go.